Hi, my name is Asma Javed. I am an instructional coach with Ottawa Carleton District School Board. In this video, I will talk about pedagogical documentation as a form of formative assessment, that is, assessment for learning. Before that, let's talk about what is assessment and what is assessment for learning. Assessment is a process of gathering, analyzing, and interpreting data that reflects a child's demonstration for learning, and the primary purpose of assessment is to improve learning and help children become self-regulating, autonomous learners. Assessment for learning means that educators observe and document evidence of learning and provide feedback to children to help them move forward in their learning. You must be thinking, well, what does assessment for learning looks like in kindergarten? The Ontario educators are using pedagogical documentation as one of the approaches of the assessment for learning. Pedagogical documentation approach comes from Reggio Emilia, Italy. Pedagogical documentation is the process of gathering and analyzing evidence of learning to make thinking and learning visible. It is more than recording events. This usually takes place when educators interact with children in play and inquiry. They provide feedback, notice, and name learning to articulate what children are doing. Noticing and naming the learning serves as a vehicle for sharing learning goals and success criteria. This practice of noticing and naming should also be done at other grade levels. The educators in kindergarten elicit information about children's learning by collecting evidence through observations, conversations, and demonstrations of learning. On an ongoing basis, the educators provide feedback that helps children understand where they are at and where they are going next in their learning. Michelle Klinkott and colleagues will call this process of formative assessment a cycle of core teacher practice. It is important to document because it tells the story of a project, an ordinary moment, the development of an idea that a teacher feels is essential to communicate to others or hold on to so that it becomes part of the history of the classroom or school. Now you may be wondering, where do I start? Well, make documenting a daily habit. And you have to have a willingness to share what we have noted and our curiosities with others. Some of the apps you can use to document students' learning. Some of the ways you can document students' learning. Pedagogical documentation is not just for early years. You can use them in upper grades, and your students will thank you for providing them with this experience.